All right, let's talk about something huge, something that's at the very core of being human. And honestly, it's kind of terrifying. I'm talking about freedom, that absolute, inescapable freedom we all have. We're going to dive into what it really means to make a choice, to play a part in our own lives, and to be responsible for the person we're becoming every single second. So let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like you're just playing a role? At your job or with your family, maybe even with different groups of friends. That feeling like you're just performing, going through the motions of a part someone else wrote for you. Well, that exact feeling, that's where we're starting today. Okay, so first up, let's really get into this idea of the roles we play. And to do that, we're going to lean on the philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre. He gives us this perfect classic example. He asks us to picture a waiter in a Parisian cafe, but this guy is a little too good at his job. He's almost too much of a waiter. You can just see it, right? His movements are a little too precise. His voice is a little too eager to please. He isn't just doing the job of a waiter. He's trying to become the perfect idea of a waiter. It's like he's trying to turn himself into a machine, an automaton, where every single move is dictated by the role, with absolutely no space left for his own choices, for his own freedom. And this whole act, this running away from our own freedom, that's what Sartre called bad faith. It's basically a deep, deep form of self-deception. It's when we pretend our hands are tied, when we say, oh, I have no choice. It's when we act like we're nothing more than our job title or our perfect Instagram profile, or just the sum of all our past mistakes. It's our way of trying to escape the absolutely crushing weight of being responsible for every single choice. And that right there, that's the core of the lie. Bad faith is when you tell yourself, I am a waiter, period. It's treating a role like it's your permanent identity. But the truth, the reality of our freedom, is a totally different statement. It's saying, I am a free person who is choosing to act like a waiter right now. See the difference? The role doesn't define you. You are the one choosing to play it. And you're creating yourself with every choice you make. But wait a second. Why on earth would anyone run away from freedom? I mean, isn't freedom what we all want? It seems completely backwards. And that leads us right into the great paradox of freedom, and the absolutely terrifying reason why sometimes it can feel less like a gift and more like a prison sentence. So Sartre believed that being human is like being in a constant tug of war. On one side, you've got what he called facticity. These are just the cold, hard facts about you that you can't change. Where you were born, your past, your physical body. But on the other side of the rope is your transcendence, and that's your incredible freedom to decide what all those facts mean and to launch yourself into a future you get to create. You're not just your past, you're also everything you're aiming to be. And Sartre boiled this whole paradox down into one brilliant, kind of confusing sentence. Man is what he is not and is not what he is. Okay, what in the world does that mean? Well, think of it this way. A huge part of who you are is tied up in your future plans, in all the things you are not yet. At the same time, you are not just the sum of your past actions, the things you already are. We're all living in that wild space right between what we've been and what we could become. And honestly, staring into that gap, it's terrifying. Sartre had a name for it, the anguish of freedom. It's that dizzying, vertigo-inducing feeling when you realize there's no script for your life. Nothing, not your parents, not society, not even the person you were 5 minutes ago, can tell you what to do next. You are completely and totally on your own. It's all on you. Now, of course, we're not just floating around in a vacuum with all this freedom. We're surrounded by other people, and every single one of them is just as free as we are, with their own plans and their own way of seeing the world. And yeah, this is where things get really messy. You've probably heard this quote before. It's one of Sartre's most famous. Hell is other people. And almost everyone gets it wrong. It's not about other people being mean or annoying. What he was getting at is a much deeper, more fundamental conflict in how we relate to each other. It's this idea that we desperately need other people to even feel real. But that very dependence creates an impossible and ultimately unbearable situation. Okay, so this whole trap kind of unfolds in 4 stages. First, we need other people to look at us, to acknowledge us, just to feel like we exist. But second, for their acknowledgement to actually matter to us, it has to be something they give freely. And here's the kicker. Step 3, you can never, ever own or control another person's freedom. So that leads to the final step, the conflict. We have this deep desire to possess something that is, by its very nature,
unpossessible. And that's the source of so much struggle in our relationships. So it's not just other people that create these complications. Another huge way we try to escape from all this freedom is by hiding behind our social roles. Think about it. These roles are fantastic. They come with a pre-written script, and that lets us dodge the responsibility of actually owning our beliefs.
To really see how this plays out, let's borrow an example from another philosopher, G.A. Cohen, who really dug into this. So imagine a guy who's both a father and a university professor. One day, his son comes to him and asks a really tough question. Dad, should I cheat on my big exam to make sure I pass?
So, what does he do? Instead of giving his own personal answer, he answers from his different hats. He says something like, well, look, as your father, of course I want you to succeed, but as a professor, I believe in the rules and academic integrity. Do you see what he did? He didn't actually answer the question at all. He just laid out his internal conflict. He's using his roles to avoid taking a stand, to avoid committing to a single belief. And this whole situation points to a really crucial difference. Using your role to explain why you think something is not the same as justifying that belief. An explanation just says, here's why I feel this way, but a justification gives real reasons that should convince someone else. Hiding behind the role is a kind of philosophical dodge. It's another flavor of bad faith. You're treating your belief like it's an automatic feature of your job, not a personal choice that you and you alone are responsible for.
Okay, so let's recap. We've seen how we try to escape this crazy freedom. We try to turn ourselves into objects like the waiter. We hide behind our job titles and social roles. We get tangled up in the freedom of other people. But if all of these are just dead ends, just forms of self-deception, then what are we supposed to do? What does it actually look like to live an authentic life?
Well, there's no simple, easy answer here. That's kind of the point. The big existentialist takeaway is that we just have to face the truth of our situation head on. There's no script written for us. We can't blame our roles or our past or society for the choices we make. It's up to us and only us to create any meaning or value in this world. And yeah, that total responsibility is terrifying. It's where the anguish comes from. But it's also the very thing that gives us our dignity. So maybe we need to stop asking, what's my purpose or what's my role, and start realizing we're the ones holding the pen. The real question isn't what life has planned for you, it's what you have planned for your life. So I'll just leave you with this one thought to chew on. If your life is a totally unwritten story, what will you choose to write on the next page?